Hey, you know what's delicious? Do you know what's just like mwah, like just I could just like gobble it right up. I could just eat it like just brick by brick. Dungeons are delicious. Just want to eat them. Just want just like with some sauce and a little bit of like some like jalapenos and like maybe like a reduction of like red wine over top of it and just like put that in the oven for like 5. Nom, nom, nom. Just want to shove it in my mouth. But failing that, since that's not an option, can at least watch a show about how delicious it is to just eat dungeons, like just chomp down on the whole goddamn thing. Which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch some dungeon deliciousness, some delicious dungeon, some the thing of the gang. Yes, I'm a little. I had a couple of energy drinks. Can you hear it? Can you hear it me? I'm a little wired. Doing it a different way this time because some, don't worry about it, some logistical things. Welcome to a watch along. I am watching Delicious and Dungeon on Netflix because that's where you're supposed to watch it, and that's where I've always been watching it the whole time. Because I only ever watch anime from legitimate sources. It's part of my credo as a person is that I would never go on a website like that starts with an N and download episodes of anime. I only ever watch them on the streaming services that I do genuinely, and this is not a joke, I do genuinely pay for the streaming services. It's just, well, you know, streaming service, they could be more convenient in terms of like being able to watch an episode of a thing or two. That I have some small criticisms, but obviously I only ever watch anime from legitimate sources, which is what I'm doing today. I'm watching it from the most legitimate source possible, which is Netflix, which means the syncing up and the timer and the whole thing of the thing that we usually do is going to be a little mild, tiny bit different, but should still work mostly the same way. I'll keep my mouse there over the full screen button, and that'll keep the little timer bar and the timer over on the right side. It's a little small visible, but also you'll be able to see, this is something people have been requesting, you'll be able to see the subtitles. Just like the lower bit of the subtitles will show up on screen as well. And you'll be able to see what the subtitles are, more or less, and that'll probably also help you synchronize with things. It's just, I've set up my hotkeys, the thing should work the way it's supposed to. So let's try it. Welcome to a watch-along of Delicious and Dungeon, episode 13. The way it works, by the way, I should specify this. I'll say 3, 2, 1, go, and you'll go at the same time as me, because I'm not going to be showing you any footage from, like, or at least as little as I possibly can, from the actual series. I'll say 3, 2, 1, go. We'll go at the same time. We'll watch the episode together. Every once in a while, I'll be like, oh shit, I need to talk about that, and I'll say 3, 2, 1, pause, and we'll pause at the same time, and you'll use the timer and the screenshot that you'll be able to see on screen to sort of sync yourself up with whatever the hell it is that I'm looking at so that you can see what I'm talking about. Then when I'm done talking, I'll say 3, 2, 1, go, and we'll keep proceeding from the same point forward, right? Does that make a lot of sense? Yeah, no, I explained that perfectly. I can't see why anyone would have trouble understanding that. So, Dungeon Meshi. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh no, wait, hang on, shit, fuck, no, I fucked it up. God damn it. This is a little bit more troublesome with my hotkeys. Okay. Sorry, this time. All the way back to 0. I'm an idiot. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, now it's working. Oh, shit, no, you're not supposed to have that. We're not skipping the intro. Of course we're not. Why would we skip the intro? That would be insane. Anyway, Falin has been revived, and she looks normal, and everything looks normal, and she looks fine, and everything's gonna be fine, because they've won, and now they just need to get out of the dungeon, and then the series is over, and that's wonderful. Bum ba da 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 dum da 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 da. we'll see. We'll see how the copyright bots feel about that tiny little 10% of the anime that's visible at the top of the screen right now. If this doesn't work, I'll have to go back to the old method. But you know, a lot of people were asking like to have the subtitles to sort of help them sync up, and it's like, okay, sure, I can try. They're friends. They're friends. They're such good friends. And Falin looks normal. She looks normal. She looks like normal things are happening to her. And everything's cool. Don't worry about it. Oh, hey, it's almost as though the ghosts were trying to protect her or something. Oh, now the subtitle's on top? Okay. Ah, the sword fell over. I forgot. Netflix sometimes put the subtitles on top. See, it's cool. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Hello, painting elf. Uh-oh. Ooh, that's sounded crunchy. Oh, hey. Uh-oh. I'm not sure that's a good idea, Marcel. Oh, oh, the animation on that is cool. She seems okay. The little thing over the little food description. Oh, hey! They got eaten by the dungeon. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's cool. Everything's totally cool. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. I like the staff shattering being also the moment that her will breaks. Good medicine indeed. Hey, new axe for Senshi. Don't worry so much. They are probably not gonna eat you. Oh, hey. Oh, hey, I remember you from the intro. I like her. Oh, Marcel. Orc concoction. Ah, Marcel. Ah, very good. Plot. What? Chilchuck, what? Poor Chilchuck. That poor guy. Oh, hey! Ghosts. I do need to talk about ghosts at some point. As relates to... Yeah, the dragon's gone. God, I love her design. It's so good. Poor Chilchuck. He's such a stressed out party dad. Chilchuck. There we go. Okay, 3, 2, 1, pause. Damn it, didn't pause correctly. There we go. Chilchuck is a real interesting character, like because we've seen his sort of character progression right throughout the show. Going, yeah, thank you, Netflix. That's very convenient. Going from, he started out being almost as reticent as Marcel, right? Like where Marcel was mostly reticent to fucking eat the fucking dungeon food for the most part. He had this reticence of like, listen, I don't want to get killed for this. I'm not going to fight for this. I'm not like, listen, I'm a thief. I'm a lockpick. I'm a locksmith. I will do trap search, but like, don't ask me to fight. Don't like, I can't take these risks, right? But then, like, in the actual fight with the Red Dragon, motherfucker is in there. Like, he's in there stabbing with a knife and saving party members. He's a full-fledged member of the actual battle, right? After all his protesting about, I can't take those risks, and those idiots, like, and that's the monologue he's giving here, that one about, like, these people, they take such risks, they keep doing these stupid things. He's not talking about them. He really isn't. He's not talking about the party. He's talking about himself. He's talking about, like, how the fuck can I be taking these risks, right? How can I do all of this? How can I be taking these risks? How can I live so dangerously? Because he's blaming himself. Like, he's blaming himself for being unable to protect them, for being unable to protect Falin, for being unable to protect Laios and Senshi. Which is the thing that he really wants, right? He wants to keep them safe. That's why he doesn't want them to take those stupid risks all the time. But he doesn't quite know how to verbalize that. And so it's coming out in this, like, I should have left. I shouldn't have gone with them. Because, like, if I hadn't gone with them, if I'd said no, so it was only Laios and Marcel, maybe they wouldn't have gone, right? Like, maybe they wouldn't have taken this stupid risk. I should never have let them take that stupid risk. I should never have encouraged them taking that stupid risk. I should never have taken that stupid risk, right? He's talking about himself, but he's projecting it outwards, and that's very much sort of Chilchuck's way. It's a slightly Sundara thing to do, but that's what's actually going on here, is that he's remonstrating with himself. And, like, the orc lady doesn't understand that, obviously. Like, she thinks he is talking about his party because she doesn't know him. But this is all Chilchuck staring into a mirror and like beating himself over the head for not doing enough to protect his friends. And that's an interesting part of his character arc, is this thing of, like, he wants so badly to be more cynical than he is. He wants so badly to be someone who could walk away, who could abandon them. He wishes he could just fucking walk away and leave things be and not have to jump in and try so fucking hard. But he can't. He doesn't have the capacity to do it. He doesn't have the capacity not to care, no matter how much he wants to. It seems like it's almost as though he's worried about something else. That, like, if he takes all of these stupid risks down in the dungeon, which he cannot help himself from taking, that he gets hurt. And then someone somewhere might be sad about that, or be troubled by his disappearance. It's almost like he has some kind of, I shouldn't be taking these risks, I have a responsibility to something else. That's almost what it feels like. His dialogue is like, I haven't read the manga at all further ahead than this. No, I don't know anything. Don't worry about it. But that, I like this as a part of Chilchuck's characterization. This thing of like, he's a coward, yeah, as Senshi says, but he's not a bad person, right? He's a coward, but he's only a coward in the service of keeping the people he cares about alive. That's like his main thing, is like, I don't want my friends to die, though. Like, I don't want my friends to die horribly in needless circumstances. And I like that. Like, it's a good part of his characterization. I also, I kind of don't. I do want to go back and take a look at a bunch of the stuff with the Mad Mage with Thistle. This isn't really a Sakuga episode, right? Like, there isn't really any of the super duper, like, mind-blowingly amazing animation going on in this one. But like the bit with the little dragons rising out of the blood. And I really like the visuals they used on Marcial's dispel, like to sort of show that she's smacking like dozens of these things out of the air with a great amount of effort. And the way that it's affecting her mentally, like that she's clearly like, she's both excited that she can understand the ancient magic, but also despairing that she's not powerful enough to keep up with it. Which is another thing about Marcial, is one of the things that sort of hasn't been present in her characterization up until basically the last episode, is that she is a very ambitious spellcaster. And a very powerful one. And hey, maybe I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Maybe that's going to come back. Maybe that's going to be a part of her characterization at some point. Maybe it's going to be important somehow. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know. It could be. Oh, fuck, this show is good, though. Because I keep forgetting to do any kind of commentary because I'm just watching. Like, Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, shit, timer. She's starting to understand it. There we go. She saw through him. Not that he's subtle about it. Oh, little halfling man. See? He can't stop caring. Laios. Laios and giving up is that's a tough thing for him. Transitional episode. Clearly. Not watching the creds. Fuck you. Transitional episode, right? Like this is the denouement after the first climax of the story, right? Where they beat the Red Dragon, which has been like that has been the objective for the whole thing so far, is like find the Red Dragon, beat the Red Dragon. That has been the whole of the quest. So now they've done that. So the first phase of the story is over. And now comes the next part, which is like, hey, we beat the Red Dragon, we rescued Falin, resurrected her with a bit of forbidden dark magic, that's probably fine, and now she's gone again. Oh, hell, I guess we're not done exploring the dungeon, right? So there's this thing of like, and it's like structurally really well managed that the story manages, like it sets up this goal, go get Falin by defeating the Red Dragon, and then they accomplish that goal, and then like, so you get the satisfaction of a job well done, like a thing that has been achieved. But then, next step is this thing of like, oh, wait, there's a twist, right? You still have to go and rescue Falin, but now she's not dead anymore. Now it's a little bit worse. Right, so now it's rescue Falin not from the Red Dragon, but rescue Falin from the Mad Mage himself. Now she's not dead anymore, but you know, so like it's the thing of like it's that difficult thing of like when you're doing a long form story about establishing the stakes and then keeping the stakes going without feeling like you undercut the victory of your protagonists, right? Which is a thing like that's something that like that's always sort of been my problem with a lot of shonen is that you have these story arcs where your protagonist like goes through a training arc and they power up and they learn new powers and like become the legendary Super Saiyan or learn the Bankai or like fucking master the Rasengan, whatever it is. And they beat a powerful enemy, and then when it's not handled well, what'll happen is that like the very next chapter or whatever, the story will cut to, you may have defeated him, but it turns out he was only a weak enemy who had no power at all, and I am the true master of the demon army, or like where some even more powerful power enemy powers his way out of the power background where he's been powerfully powering around the whole time in the background because he was the author of all your pain. And that sort of, that undercuts the sense of victory, right? Like, that undercuts the satisfaction of having defeated the powerful enemy because, like, yeah, it was pointless. There was just, like, a more powerful guy. Just, he was just there. There was just a more powerful dude. So, fuck you for trying, I guess, right? And that's a difficult thing to manage because, like, you do need to escalate the stakes, right? Like, you do need to take things up a notch. And what Delicious in Dungeon has done very well is that it has established the Mad Mage as a character and as a threat long before they beat the Red Dragon, right? Like the that thing has always been there. It's not being pulled out of the story's ass after a big victory. Like, this is a part of the world building that has been there constantly, and it's justified that like by beating the Red Dragon, they got the attention of the Mad Mage, right? Like they got the attention of that dark elf that they already run into before, who like already had gotten pissed off at Laios for interfering with the paintings. So, like, of course, that person is going to interfere more severely, right? So, like, structurally speaking, that's a really good way to escalate the stakes without undercutting a victory, right? Because they did achieve something meaningful. Falin is alive again, right? Like, she's definitely alive. Some other stuff is going on also, but she's not dead anymore. Hooray! So, like, we can still, like, she can still sort of be an objective for the story to reach, which I think is lovely. I really like this show. I really like this show a lot. I think the structure of how it's put together, just the craft with which this show is done is genuinely kind of astonishingly good. It's just such a solid construction. It really is. And that's the other thing. Let me just... No, not next episode. No! Back to the same episode. No! Netflix, you piece of shit garbage interface. Hate you. No, episode 13, please, for the love of fuck. Okay. Stop playing back. I just want to scroll through the thing without the playback starting. That. I have such a weakness. I have such a weakness for, like, traditionally animated books with all the pages flipping through. Like that. Oh, like it's just a thing. It's a thing I've had for a long, long time. I think it started with Wild Arms. I think Wild Arms has an intro cinematic that's an like anime thing where there's like a book that flips through page. I remember being fascinated by that as a kid. I just have a thing. I just have a thing for books with the pages like love that. Oh, love that a lot. Also, that expression there, right? I can read the magic, but I can't keep up with it. This peculiarly desperate mix of joy and terror on Marcial's face. Right? Because she has an objective in the dungeon. She wants to know about the ancient magic of the Mad Mage. Right? Like she has a super objective that lies outside of simply rescuing Falin. She has an ambition to her that I think is going to be a real interesting part of her character. It's also interesting to see the ghosts come in and be characterized, like the ghosts of this kingdom that was here long ago, right? Presumably these would be ghosts of people who were in the paintings at some point or another. Like these will be like the past inhabitants of the dungeon. And it sort of seems like the Mad Mage is placating them, right? Like no, the king will come back, right? Like he has this thing. He tells the Red Dragon to search for the king, and tells the ghosts that don't so worried, the king will come back, and then we'll all celebrate. We'll have a feast. Like I'm looking for the King Delgal, this person who was in all of the painting scenes that we got this little mini history of their life, right? So there's an interesting relationship to the ghosts of this place, who have been unable to move on, right? Like who are stuck here in stasis, in limbo, without being able to move on through the cycle of life. Which is interesting because like that sort of posits thematically, it posits the dungeon as this attempt to halt the cycle of nature, right? Like the cycle of nature is like you live, you eat, you die, you get eaten, right? Like, if nothing else, you get eaten up by bacteria and fungus and mold and the worms that will eat their way into your coffin when you are buried, right? Like, or you get eaten up by fire, which also consumes things, right? Like, that's the natural cycle of the world. In the dungeon, though, ghosts get trapped, souls get trapped, and they cannot leave. That's why resurrection is possible down there in part, right? But there's also this stasis, this undoing of the normal cycle, right? Which, like, that sort of posits the idea that the dungeon is this... What's the word I'm looking for? Not a faucet. Valve? Like a blockage. It's like a blockage in the natural flow of life. Right? Like it's this attempt to abnegate the normal course of mortality, of reality itself. Which, you know, and like the Mad Mage is maintaining essentially a fiction, right? Like maintaining... Right, the Mad Mage is maintaining a fiction here, a fantasy world, some kind of delusional situation, that a reality that cannot be true. Right? And so the question is, like, by the end of the story, does the dungeon have to go then? Right? Does the dungeon need to be... She's a good character design. I like her. By the end of it, like, is the end of the story this, like, we have to break the dungeon and get rid of this thing because it is this unnatural obstruction to the way that things ought to go, that is just causing misery, right? Because I haven't read Dungeon Meshi all the way to the end, so... Like, is it a thing of, like, do we end with... Because the other hand is, like, the dungeon is also an ecosystem, right? Like, the dungeon has a cycle of life and death inside of it, which Senshi especially reveres, and Laios too. So, yeah, I wonder about that. Anyway, Dungeon Meshi, good. Good Dungeon Meshi. I'm gonna watch the next episode right the fuck now, is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, bye.